Hello and welcome back to another episode of Football Manager 2019. As you can see in this experiment, I have put Ibrahimovic in charge of Manchester United Football Club. He is, of course, a player manager on £22,000 a week. It's not very good. His agent is probably not best pleased, but it is only till December 2019. So, depending on how he does, he may get an extended contract. So, let's just go through anything here, see if there's anything. No, nothing really, nothing spectacular. Obviously, we know where he's been, we know who he is, and we know how good he is. So, what we intend to do is go ahead 1 year and see what happens. See if he is successful a manager as he is a player. Man United are predicted to come fifth with odds of 9 to 2. So let's go ahead a year and see what happens. Welcome back. We are a year ahead, 26th of June 2019. And as you can see, Manchester United won the league last season, only losing 3 games, one to Chelsea, Tottenham and another to Chelsea, all 1-0 games. They won the league with points total of 89 and only conceded 23 goals. So, let's go to Manchester United and have a look at their schedule for last season. As you can see in the Champions League, they beat Olympique Lyon 3-0, Juventus 4-2, Galatasaray, that is definitely the group of death, 2-1. Again, they beat them 3-1, and Lyon 3-0, and again they beat Juventus 2-1. Doing well in the FA Cup, Champions League, they beat Roma in both legs and lost in the 6th round of the FA Cup. And they drew Napoli in the quarter-final of the Champions League in leg 1 and leg 2, but made it through on away goals. The Champions League semi-final, they beat away at Paris Saint-Germain. They beat them 2-1, and at home they beat them 3-2, which means they made it to the final. But did they win the final? They did. They won the final. They beat Real Madrid 2-1 in the final. Let's go to the transfer history for last season. 58 million on Lucas Hernandez, Fazio Fernandez, and Jason Steele from Brighton. Who did they sell? They sold Marcos Rojo. Ashley Young went to Everton. But again, Matic went on loan to Leicester, but nothing of major, nothing major really. Fellaini went to Everton on loan. So let's go to the overview, and we can see that Ibrahimovic is still in charge of Manchester United, which means he done the double by winning the league and the Champions League. As you can see there, English Premier Division and European Championships Cup. Let's see if he has got a contract, and he has. Much better, longer contract, and he is there for the duration. Let's go ahead 1 more year and see if he can keep up his good work. By the way, he still is a player manager. Hello and welcome back. It is the 26th of June 2020, and we have gone a year ahead from the last time I saw you or spoke to you. As you can see, Zlatan is still in charge, and it looks like to me that they have. Yes, they have. They retained the Premier League and only lost 4 games. Were against 36 and run away with a 90-point lead, with Tottenham coming up behind them with 87, who only lost 3 games, by the way, which one of them was to Manchester United. So let's go to Manchester United and look at their schedule for last season. As we can see, Shawcross had a testimonial game. The Community Shield, they lost 2-0 to Chelsea. And they also lost the European Super Cup to Arsenal. Arsenal must have won the Cup Winners' Cup, the UEFA Cup, whatever it's called these days. And they didn't start well, really. They lost to Newcastle in the Premier Division. Onwards to the Champions League. They beat Dynamo Kiev 3-0, Inter Milan 3-0. Don't forget they are defending champions for the Champions League. A 2-1 loss to Atletico Madrid, but again at Old Trafford they turned that around with a 2-1 win at home. Dynamo Kiev away 2-1 and Inter Milan at home 2-0. In the World Club Championship final, they won 3-1. Back to the Carabao Cup semi-final, second leg. They beat Tottenham 2-1, and at home they beat them 3-1. So they're in the final of that. Champions League knockout stages, they won 2-1 in the first leg, and they beat Liverpool in the League Cup 2-1 at Wembley. Champions League second leg, they beat Genk 2-0 at home. On to the next round. FA Cup semi-final, they lost to Chelsea 2-1 at Wembley. Champions League quarter-final, they beat Monaco away 2-1. And again, they beat them at home 2-1. Champions League semi-final, they drew 1-1 with Manchester City in leg 1. And in leg 2, they beat them 3-0, which means Manchester United have made a second consecutive Champions League final, which they went on to again beat Real Madrid, just like the season before, with a Gareth Bale goal in the 68th minute, Nabil Fekir in the 79th and in the 113th minute of extra time. Fantastic. Let's go to the transfer history for that season. So again, nothing to shout about really. They spent a lot of money, not sold many. Matic went to Porto for 18 million. Fellaini went to Fiorentina for a total of 5 million. But again, nothing to shout about for transfers going out. Let's go to managers then. Zlatan has obviously won the Champions League twice on the trot now, and the Premiership, and he's also a Carabao Cup winner and a Club World Cup winner. 92 games won, 17 games drawn and 13 games lost. Let's just go to the Champions League and look at past winners, and there you see it. They beat Madrid in 18-19 and Madrid again 19-20. So let's go ahead another year to 2021 and see if Zlatan can continue this fine work that he is doing at Manchester United. And we have gone 1 year ahead to the 28th of June 2021. As you can see, Manchester United have gone on to win the Premier League once again, third year in a row, only losing 6 games with 84 points, close behind Manchester City. Is Zlatan still in charge? He is indeed. Let's take a look at their schedule. They won the Charity Shield against Chelsea. They won the European Super Cup against Bayer. They lost an away game to Barcelona at the Nou Camp in the Champions League. Did they beat them at home? They certainly did, 2-0 at Old Trafford. They also went on to win the Club World Championship final again, which I believe is the third year running. And in the Champions League first knockout round, they beat Real Madrid at home 2-1 and drew with them 2-2 away. Let's go to the FA Cup semi-final, where they drew 1-1 with Manchester City. In the quarter-final of the Champions League, they won 2-1 first leg and 3-0 second leg. In the semi-final of the Champions League, they had to play Barcelona again, where they won 2-0 at the Nou Camp and then drew 1-1 at home. In the FA Cup final, they beat Chelsea 2-1. And in the Champions League final, they beat Olympique Lyon on penalties, by the looks of things there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-3 on penalties. So again, they've gone and won the Champions League for the third time in a row. Let's go to the transfer history. So look who they bought. Isco from Real Madrid. Jimenez came over. Who did they sell? Anyone interesting? Lingard went to Arsenal. Jones went to Southampton. But again, nothing of specific importance really. So let's go to managers. Ibrahimovic, Zlatan. 3 years and 3 days he's been in charge. And he's won quite a lot, to be fair. Rather a lot. Let's go to milestones and Manchester United landmarks. So from 2019, he won the English Premier Division, the Champions League, Club World Cup, the League Cup, Premier Division, Champions League, Charity Shield, the European Super Cup, the Club World Cup, the Under-23 Premier Division Cup, the English Premier League, the English FA Cup, and the Champions League again. The man is a legend as a player and as a manager, 3 times in a row as Champions League winners. In the Premier Division, we shall go to past winners, and they've won that 3 times in a row. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead one more year and see if he can keep up this good work. We are 1 year ahead, 26th of June 2022. As you can see, again, Manchester United have won the league with a record 99 points. I actually don't think that is a record, I'm not sure. But anyway, 99 points, only losing 3 games. Chelsea, Liverpool and Leicester all away, so their home record is intact. Let's go to Manchester United and to the overview screen, and Zlatan is still in charge of Manchester United. Let's go to their schedule. See how they did it. They lost the Community Shield to Manchester City, and they lost the European Super Cup to Chelsea. Let's have a look. Champions League standard, 4-0 at home. Monaco 1-1. Who else in their group? Inter Milan 3-3. They beat them at home 2-1 and beat AC Monaco at home 2-0. They also won the Club World Cup again 2-1, and they look like they have done really well in the Carabao Cup to go to the final, which is in February. Did they win? And no, they lost. They lost 3-1 to Leicester, obviously their bogey side of the season. 2-2 away in the Champions League first knockout round, first leg. Atletico Madrid 2-0 at home, winners in the second leg. On to the FA Cup semi-final, where they beat Arsenal 4-0. They then went on to beat Paris Saint-Germain 3-2 in the quarter-final of the Champions League and 3-0 in the second leg. And on to the semi-final, where they beat Man City 3-2, and they beat them again in the second leg 2-1. Going on to beating Leicester, their bogey side at the beginning of the season, 2-0 in the FA Cup final, and Juventus 3-1 in the Champions League final. So let's go to the Champions League and look at past winners. Ever since Ibrahimovic has been in charge, he has won literally 4 Champions Leagues on the bounce. And let's go to the FA Cup and let's see how he's done in this. And he's won the last 2 in the FA Cup. We'll go to the Carabao Cup. Let's see how he's got on there. And he's only won 1 and runner-up this season. With the Premier Division, he has won 4 on the trot again. So the man is doing pretty well. Let's have a look at their transfers for this season. They've spent 115 million. They haven't sold that many. Well, Matt has gone to Ajax for 18 million. Jason Steele's gone for 2.1 to Bournemouth. Bournemouth also got a loan as well for Manchester United. Okay, so let's go to the senior squad. I just want to have a look. Let's see, they got Dembele, Marshall, Pogba, Isiko, Rashford, Lukaku, Hernandez, De Gea. So they have got an incredible side. You can sort of see why they are winning the Champions League consistently and the Premier Division. 4 years and 1 day he's been in charge. And look what he's won over the years as a manager. You know, it's absolutely incredible what he has won. Let's go to his profile. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Let's go back to manager. There you go. He is still playing as a player at 40 years old. That is incredible. Is he actually still playing games? He didn't play any games last season or this season so far, but the season hasn't started. Season before that, he played 1, 1, 8, and 5. So technically, he is still a player, and that is absolutely incredible. Well done. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead another year to 2023 and see if he can continue this amazing work and see if he can get a 5th Premier League and 5th Champions League on the trot. So we are 1 year ahead, 27th June 2023, and as you can see, Manchester United's hold on the Premier Division is over, but only just. They lost 5 games only, twice to eventual winners Manchester City. But look at this, 91 points each. Goal difference was 10 goals, and that was it. Man City scored more, 95 goals. But Man United only let in 31, which is very good. 5 goals were from Manchester City. Is Ibrahimovic still in charge? He is indeed. So let's go to the fixtures. De Gea had a testimonial against Madrid, which ended 2-2. The Charity Shield was won by United against Manchester City, 3-2. They went on to win the European Super Cup against Liverpool, 2-0. And their first Champions League game was against Lyon, where they went on to win 5-0 at home and then 3-0 away. They then met FC Copenhagen and won that, and Lazio away 1-0. Lazio again at home 2-0. They lost in the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup 2-1 to Manchester City, believe it or not. In the FA Cup 4th round, they did well against Leeds 5-0. And in the first knockout round, first leg, they drew 2-2 with Dortmund. And the second leg, they went on to beat them 3-0 at home. FA Cup 6th round, 6-0 to against Millwall at home, with Lukaku getting a hat-trick, 2 goals in under 10 minutes. FA Cup semi-final, they beat Leicester 3-0 away. And again, they met Lyon in the Champions League quarter-final, where they won 4-1 away in the first leg and 3-0 at home in the second leg. Then they had a disaster where they played Paris Saint-Germain in the semi-final of the Champions League, where they lost 1-0 with a Cavani goal. Then in the second leg away at Paris Saint-Germain, they lost 2-1 with Mbappe scoring 2 goals, where Manchester United were 1-0 up. So their reign on the Premiership and the Champions League is over. They also went on to lose 2-1 in the FA Cup final to Manchester City, who looked like they went on to do the double. So their Champions League dominance is now over, and they lost to Paris Saint-Germain, where Liverpool were runners-up in the final. So let's go to the transfers for last season and see what they did. They bought Dembele for 97 million from Barcelona. They spent 251 million on players and didn't win anything, which is pretty embarrassing. They did sell a lot of players though. Savic to Paris Saint-Germain, who got them out of the Champions League. Herrera went to Newcastle for 37 million. Anything else? Fred went to Hoffenheim. Alexis Sanchez went to Lazio on loan. But again, nothing of importance Go to managers. 5 years and 2 days. Ibrahimovic has been in charge, and unfortunately, 2023 was not kind to him at all. Now, I wonder how long he's got on his contract. He's got 3 more years on his contract, and he's still playing. 41 years old, and he's still playing, but he's not played a game for United, but he is the player manager still. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on another year to 2024 and see if Man United can get back the Premier League, the Champions League, or any cup, to be fair, because they haven't won anything this season, which is quite it's quite bad considering what they have won over the last 4 years. So let's go ahead one more year and see what happens. I've gone 1 year ahead again to 2024. Let's go and see if Ibrahimovic can retain or get back the title, and he didn't. Manchester City went on and won it again. Manchester United comes second again, but look at this. 93 points for Liverpool, 93 points for United, 98 points for Manchester City, only losing 2 games, one of them being to third place Liverpool. Let's go to Manchester United. Is he still in charge? He is still in charge. Fantastic. So let's have a look at what happened last season for them. Lost in the Community Shield to Manchester City. In the Champions League, they beat Milan at home 2-0. They then drew of them away in the Champions League. FA Cup, they beat Plymouth 2-0. Leicester 3-1. Champions League knockout first round. First leg they lost away 3-2 to Monaco, and then only drawing 1-1 at home, so they went out of the Champions League in the first round. That's pretty poor, considering they won it 4 years on the trot. FA Cup 6th round, they beat Chelsea 2-0, and then beat Brighton 2-0 Wembley. Going on to the final, where they beat Tottenham 3-2 in the final at Wembley. So they did win something in the end, after a barren year the year before. Did he buy anyone of significance? Not really. No, I'm guessing a lot of these players are up and coming players. 51 million, 85 million. Sold a few players as well. 137 million sold, but again, he didn't sell anyone of relevance really. So let's go to himself. 6 years and 2 days he's been in charge. He's won 280 games, drawn 42 and only lost 45. He has a 76% win rate. English FA Cup winners, let's have a look. They were runners-up last season, and obviously they've won it this season. Let's go to the Champions League and see. They haven't won it for 2 seasons, but they did win it 4 on the trot. So maybe the season coming, they can get that back, maybe. English Premier Division, let's go to, we don't want to go to records, we want to go to past winners. And again, they haven't won that for 2 seasons, but they have become runners-up twice, with Liverpool being third 3 times on the trot. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead another year to 2025 and see if he can bring back some of that glory that he brought to Manchester United for the first 4 years of his managerial career. So we are 1 year ahead. It is the 27th of June 2025, and as you can see, Manchester City have won the league again, and Manchester United have come 4th, their worst position since Ibrahimovic took over. Looking at Manchester City there, they only lost 1 game, which was to Liverpool, but they went on to win it by 10 points on 103 points, with 98 goals and only 22 against. That's incredible. What a great season for Manchester City, but not so good for Manchester United. Is Ibrahimovic still in charge? No, he's not. It's Zinedine Zidane. He has taken over Manchester United Football Club. So does that mean Ibrahimovic got the sack? Let's take a look. Managers. Zlatan. Wow, 6 years, 172 days. He got sacked. in December, the 14th of December, 2024, having won 295 games, only losing 51 and drawing 47. And by the looks of things, he didn't win anything at all. Well, obviously he wouldn't because he was sacked in December. That is not good. So the last thing he won was the FA Cup. The last biggest thing he won was the Champions League, which was in 2022. So let's go to their schedule and see where it went wrong. They lost to City in the Charity Shield, beat Schalke in the Champions League, beat Real Madrid in the Champions League, and beat Celtic in the Champions League. Beat Celtic again at home in the Champions League. Then beat Schalke away in the Champions League. They had a brilliant group. They won every game in the group stages of the Champions League. Did they go on? They obviously didn't go on to win it. Carabao quarter-final, they beat West Brom. Semi-final, first leg in the League Cup, they lost 3-2 and then won in the second leg 2-0 at home. Went on to the final against Manchester City, who beat them 2-1 in the final. On to the FA Cup. They were on a good run in the FA Cup. The fifth round against Watford, they won 2-1. Southampton, they won 3-0. Semi-final, they beat Brighton 2-0, so they got to the final again of the FA Cup. This is now obviously with Zinedine Zidane in charge. And they went on to the FA Cup final and lost 3-1 to Liverpool. So, December was the time. 14th of December, Ibrahimovic got the sack. Why did he get the sack? Let's have a look. He got the sack on the 14th of the 12th, was his last game in charge. They lost 2-1 to Bournemouth away after winning midweek at home to Real Madrid 4-0, and they went and sacked him. I really don't understand why that was. Did he talk to another club maybe? Was he involved with going to another club? We'll never know really. Well, I suppose I can try and have a look in a minute. Transfers. While he was in charge, they brought one player from Arsenal and one player from Newcastle, 74 and 22 million. But Zinedine Zidane has gone and brought Sancho from Tottenham for £139 million. He is 25 years old. He's probably at his peak. And look at them ratings. That is what you call a wonder kid. Absolute gem. 11 games. He only played for United this season. Got a rating of 7.77, his best so far. Going out, no one really. Lukaku went to Napoli. Henderson went to Ajax. But again, nothing of major importance really. But again, we go back to the managers, and Ibrahimovic obviously got the sack on the 14th of the 12th, which I find very, very strange. There you go. He is manager of Real Madrid. That is interesting. Okay, so he started on the 11th of the 1st, 2025. So he got sacked on the 14th of December. So he waited a month before he got this job at Real Madrid. So obviously he wasn't talking to them. I can't see why he got the sack at Manchester United. I find that a bit odd. Let's go to manager movements. Players lost confidence in him. There you go. Reason left. Players lost confidence. He wouldn't have got the sack then. Really. It says he did. So that's why he was gone. Kieran McKenna came in, and then Zinedine Zidane took over. So basically, that is the end of this experiment. Unfortunately, as player manager, he won a lot of trophies: English Premier Division, Champions League, Club World Cup, League Cup, Premier Division, Champions League. The list goes on. go to as manager and nothing. So as a player manager, he was more successful. At Real Madrid, he won the Spanish First Division in his first season, which is a great achievement for him. Let's go to the Champions League and look at past winners. And yes, that was the last time he won it, but he won it 4 times on the trot with Manchester United. The Super Cup, how many times did he win that with Manchester United? 2018 he started. He won it once, twice with them, and was in 4 finals and won it twice. 2 runners-up. Community Shield, how did he get on with that? He won that twice as well, and again he was in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 finals and won it twice. Let's go to the FA Cup. How many times did he win the FA Cup? 1, 2, 3 times, and he was in the FA Cup 5 times in the final. This man, why the players lost faith in him, I'll never know. English Premier Division, absolutely ridiculous why they got rid of him. He won it 4 times on the row and comes second twice. But in fairness, they did lose the league twice on the trot, and they weren't doing too well in the league in the season. Let's go back. Here we go. Club World Championship. I know he won this quite a lot. 1, 2, 3. He won it 3 times on the trot. Yeah, I do remember that. I was quite shocked by that, which is good. And that's about it really of everything that he's taken part in. We did the Super Cup, didn't we? We did, yes. So there you go. There you have it. Let's go to the Carabao Cup, League Cup. He only won that once in charge of Manchester United. But as you can see, Ibrahimovic is a cracking manager, and now he is at Real Madrid. So I hope you have enjoyed watching this experiment. It's been an eye-opener for me, and I hope it's been an eye-opener for yourselves. Don't forget to like and share with your friends and family, and don't forget to hit that red button and press subscribe. Cheers, guys.